Hi boys and girls. Here's another fall art project. Today we're going to create some fall trees. As you know, a lot of trees have leaves that change in the fall and turn beautiful colors. So I have two pictures I want to show you. This picture shows a tree with beautiful changed leaves. And here's another photograph of leaves that have turned all red, and they used to be green. It's actually a grapevine. So before we start, I want you to know two parts of a tree. So if you look behind here, I just sketched a tree, and this part of a tree is the trunk. And of course it has branches which are part of the crown. So the upper part is called the crown, and then this one is the tree trunk. So I want you to keep this in mind as you create your fall tree. All right, it's time to get out your materials, get your art bag. And in your art bag, you have some papers clipped together, brown, black, and then these little pieces of red, orange, and yellow. All right, so I made a mistake, and you should have received with your new pickup an extra black piece of paper. So also get out a black piece of paper, and that will be your background. Now, you will not need the smaller black piece of paper, just save it for later. Use this brown paper for the tree trunk. This art project does not use any scissors. So the way you will create your leaves and tree trunk is just by tearing them. So the way you guide your paper when you tear your paper is with your pincher and your thumb. So use the brown paper horizontally and tear a tree trunk. Remember, the tree trunk goes down straight, and at the bottom the foot of the trunk goes out a little bit, like this. All right, so I start up here, and you see my two hands tear, 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 and I move my hands down as I tear. I get to the bottom, and now I want to make sure I guide it out a little bit so it's a little wider than toward the top. Go back to the top, tear down, just tear it carefully, and always let your hands guide the tear. Don't just hold it like this and rip it. Then you cannot control it. Go down and then make it a little bit wider at the bottom. So here you can see, and it looks like a real tree because tree trunks have bark which is not smooth. Now I'm going to hold it to my, put it on my paper, and I'm going to see if I like it this way. I think it's a little high, so I'm just going to tear a little bit off the top. All right, and I have my tree trunk. Now you can, if you like to, also tear out branches. So if you look over here, this is an example where there are some tree branches also torn. That's up to you. All right, now if you have glue, glue works well, otherwise use your glue stick. For this project, I'm just gonna use some glue, and I have a little saying: when you use glue, a drop of glue will do, just a little bit of glue, and I put them all the way on the outside. Or use your glue stick, that works. All right, I'm gonna glue down my trunk. Now it's time for the leaves. So we're using red, orange, and yellow for our leaves. You can also use some of that leftover brown, of course. The way you tear your leaves is this way. So you want to just, again, let your fingers guide your tearing. You tear out just little pieces about this big. Not too small, not too big. And a good way to start is tear about 10 pieces of each color. So I went ahead and already tore out some. I'm going to show you. So you'll have a pile like this. I still need some red, so I'm just gonna do some red. And when I have about 10 of each color, you are ready to start gluing some of these down. So I'm just gonna move them off my paper. If you have glue, it makes it super easy. I just do this. I want to create a crown, and I'll just put a whole bunch of little glue dots down. And notice this is the crown of my tree. All right, and then I'm just add these to my fall tree. And it's okay to overlap a little bit, like one paper being on top of the other, just like that. And the more leaves you tear, the fuller your crown will be and the more beautiful. Okay. Now, once you're finished with the crown, you can add more leaves. You might also want to put some leaves on the ground because that's what happens to the leaves. They fall off the tree. You can make a little leaf pile. Maybe you have a couple falling, and then you have your fall tree. So if you look over here, these are some examples of what students have done in the past. You can see there's the full crown, there's one leaf falling, there's even a leaf pile. This is a completely different one. And so here you see some examples. All right, have a lot of fun making your fall tree.